how to get creative with your children's activity classes. Hi, my name's Liz Stanford and I'm one half of BABBA Business, the community membership for birth and baby business owners. And today we're doing things a little bit differently because you might notice that this isn't Anna, this is Vicky. Vicky is one of our members at the Birth and Baby Business Academy. And whilst Anna is on her way back to South Africa to spend time with her family, Vicky has volunteered to have a chat about a different topic really than what Anna and I have covered before. So Vicky, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Vicky and I own and run Story Imagin-ory for Melton and Rutland, which is in Leicestershire. It's part of a small franchise that is just sort of up and coming in the area at the moment. And I'm coming into my second year now of doing this. And it's based around stories and play. So how to bring stories to life through play for under fives.
Amazing. It looks absolutely brilliant. I love following you on Instagram. I think you've got your classes just look like so much fun and definitely somewhere where I would have wanted to take my children when they were little. So tell us a bit about your background and how you kind of got into Story Imagin-ory.
Yeah, so I originally, when I left school, I went and did a business course. I always wanted to go into sort of office-based work. And then one summer, I went to work in a nursery and I never left childcare. I stayed in it. So I did all of my qualifications whilst working up to level 4. So I've worked in nurseries sort of around 10 years, sort of ending in a nursery as a manager. And then I went overseas to work for what was Thompson and First Choice at that time in kids clubs. I travelled between sort of like the Balearics, and again I ended up kind of managing the kids clubs there as well, which was great fun. And I feel like overseas was where I really learned a lot of my core sort of skills with customer service side of things, which was really important obviously for that role. I did do a little bit of childcare recruitment, which I can 100% say is not for me. I'm a people's person, and sales in that sort of context just wasn't for me. And then I was a private nanny for sort of nearly 6 years, and then it was a time where I wanted a little bit more time in my life to sort of do things for myself, and so I came away from the nannying role and took a bit of time for myself. Took about 8 weeks off. And during that time, I was kind of applying for different jobs, and then I came across Story Imagin-ory, and I'd seen it around before, obviously being a nanny, and I'd heard so many amazing things about it. I just contacted Freya, who is the franchisor of Story Imagin-ory, met up with her, and you know when you just meet somebody that has sort of the same creative mind as you and so much passion about what she had created. She'd run obviously the classes for a long period of time, and so it took a bit of time for me to obviously think things over. It's a big leap to go out and do something, although it's within a franchise, you still have to put the work in yourself. So it took a bit of time to decide whether it was the right thing for me. And I just sort of jumped feet first, and then now I'm in my second year of doing it now.
That's amazing. And shout out to Freya, the franchisor from Story Imagin-ory. I follow her on Instagram as well, and she seems amazing. So I can see why you were really interested in it. And I think something that might be a question that some of our listeners might have is why did you choose a franchise? Because you've got such a varied background, you've got such amazing knowledge and skills. Why a franchise rather than kind of setting up some children's classes on your own based on the training that you've already done?
Yeah, that was a question that a lot of people asked me actually when I went sort of ahead with going into a franchise. And for me, it was that I could 100% create something myself, but it was the background work of kind of choosing, making sure I get in the right equipment, the website, and social media, all of those things. So when I sort of bought into the franchise, I got a mini package of obviously I got my website, which is completely mine. It's not just like a page on the franchisor's website. It's completely mine. I can then adapt and create what I want on there. And my equipment as well. I got a huge core kit of equipment, which meant I could get started within 6 weeks of sort of signing on the dotted line, so to speak, which just put me a little bit further ahead. And I am somebody that loves to be around people, and it was just nice to be able to know that I had other people around me as well.
That's good. Yeah, definitely. And we've all got different, different strengths, different weaknesses, different needs, and things that will kind of like motivate us and inspire us. It sounds like you made like the right choice for you from the looks of the classes. So why don't you tell me a little bit about what your classes involve? So if somebody comes to one of your Story Imagin-ory classes, what are they and their child experiencing?
Yeah, so the idea is that it's a child-led class. So the basis is that it's focused on learning through play. So we have a small together time where we sit down and we have sort of like a hello song where they can just relax a little bit, get to know the environment if they're new to the class. And then we will move on to looking at phonics. And because we're looking at a wide range of age from sort of 6 months to 5 years, that is just looking at the basic sounds, and that introduces the theme. And then we explore our story sack, which is where the bringing of the life of the story starts. So in there we could have different things. So like, for example, this week I've got a spray bottle in there because we're doing about seasons. So, I'll spray the water around, and it just builds that excitement and curiosity of what the story is going to be for that week, which is really fun. Often the children will come and grab the items from me, and then we'll have our story time, and all this time is around sort of 15 minutes long, because we don't expect the children obviously to sit there for a long period of time. It's really relaxed. And then we go off and they explore different play trays which are linked to the story. And the idea is that over the term, they will have experienced something from each part of the early years foundation stage. So each week, so each week the theme is completely different and the trays are all linked to that theme as well.
That sounds so good. And I know that you're really creative as well. So, you're either making Play-Doh or making like washing machines out of cardboard, or, creating affirmation cards for like parents or carers who take their children to your classes. So like, what's your favorite activity that you've ever done or created in one of your classes?
Yeah, I think I'm the only person that will probably arrive at a co-working session with BABBA with making a washing machine.
I was like, wow, yeah, it's really cool.
So as part of the franchise, we get a plan of ideas. But what for me is important, because I am a creative person, we then have creative range of if we want to add something else, because I'm going to have a different set of children that come to my classes to another franchisee. So I'm able to plan around the children that I have, because I really look at schemas as well, which is really important, and how children play. So for me, I love creating things. I've got some big bricks which the children love, which they don't get used very often. So I try and create them into different things. So I've made bug houses out of them. I've used them in Bird Week to create a wall with birds on. Let me think. In Maths Week, so like we was looking at numbers, I created 10 green bottles, so sensory bottles, and then putting them on the bricks as well. So just trying to be really creative with the activities, but with the children in mind that come to my sessions is really important to me.
Brilliant. That's so good. But it's really good to know that like Freya from Story Imagin-ory like actually provides these ideas for you as well. So if somebody was running classes like you that didn't have the same sort of level of like creativity or perhaps experience that you have, that they've always got something there to fall back on. But then also great to know that you've got your own you've got autonomy to create those classes around the children that are coming. And that gives them like a really bespoke experience, doesn't it? It makes you different to any other franchisee or any other class that's running a children's activity local to you. So I think that sounds great. And where do you get your inspiration then? Like, where do you get all of these kind of ideas from? Do you know, or do they just like drop in?
So I also follow a lot of people on social media, use Pinterest as well. Working in the kids clubs overseas, we used to have different themes, so there's loads of things that I remember from there. So recently I had Pirate Week, which I couldn't wait for, because pirates was a really big thing when I worked in kids clubs. And you over the years you just collect different ideas, and you just kind of recall on them when the time comes. But I think that's what social media is really good for, is that it's a great space to be able to share ideas, and you can pick things up that you think, I might be able to use that and adapt it into my scenario of how I do things, which it's great to be able to have sort of that at your fingertips, really.
That's brilliant. That sounds so good. Well, what would you say is the biggest challenge of running your business?
I think for me, it was kind of learning the business side of things, because I am more of the creative. It's kind of understanding that things take time. I want things to be done quite quickly, and it's taken me a bit of time to really establish people like rebooking and coming back. And although I think that, again, that is something that when people are kind of looking into a franchise, you automatically think that the customers come with it, but Story Imagin-ory was completely new to where I live, in particular in Melton and Rutland, and so no one had heard of it before. So you have to build that up, and I think that took a bit of time for me to kind of get my head round that, though it will come, but it just takes that little bit of extra time and extra work, going out to sort of local events and being seen, and not relying on social media all the time as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like doing that in-person marketing for your in-person classes, but also having that presence online. It's like creating the kind of balance between the two as well, isn't it? That sounds like you've done so well, and you've only been running this business for 2 years, you said, and you are
so it'll be 2 years
already,
this summer.
your classes are busy. Wow, you've got busy classes
it's
and you're
growing.
enjoying it. Brilliant. That's so good. And what are your plans kind of going forward with Story Imagin-ory? Have you got anything new coming up, or are you just planning on continuing as you are, growing your classes as you have been?
Yeah, so I would love to keep growing my community classes, but also I'd really love to be able to start sort of spreading my wings a little bit further as well, and gaining sort of some local collaborations, which is something that I'm working on. And recently I've just done it with one of the other franchisees. We did some work in a museum over the February half term, which was great fun. And the previous year I just kind of went along and watched. I didn't feel confident enough, whereas this year I delivered the sessions, which was brilliant. So that's one thing that I'm looking at kind of building a little bit more. And I also want to be able to sort of share, I've been working in childcare for over 20 years, so I want to be able to share my knowledge. And so I want to kind of create some sort of workshop to sort of take around to early years settings, or early years individuals as well, because I often seek out different CPD courses still. So that's something that I'd love to create in the future.
Brilliant. So many plans. That sounds really, really good. And I must ask, obviously, why did you decide to join the Birth and Baby Business Academy? Obviously, you're one of our very valued members, and tell us why you decided to join us.
Yeah, I think because, like I said before, I've always been somebody that has loved being surrounded by people and kind of seeking that connection with people. And yes, I get that in my sessions with children and the parents, but on a business level, I tried a few different options. And at the same time, when I first joined, just a month at a time. And for me, it was knowing that people in the membership are all kind of in the same sort of area, obviously in the birth and baby business, which I think helps because we're a different kind of person. We're very empathetic towards each other, and we share ideas. And I just felt like I really fitted in. And if you put in a question in the group, people respond and answer. And I just really liked the feel of the group.
Brilliant. Great. And we love having you as part of the membership as well. And thanks so much for sharing all about your business with us today. It's been lovely to learn more about Story Imagin-ory and your classes in particular. In the show notes, I will put a link to Vicky's Instagram and her website, so you can go and visit it and check it out. And obviously, if you've got any comments or any questions for Vicky, then please do send us a DM on Instagram, or you can comment on YouTube. And thanks so much, Vicky, for joining us. I've really enjoyed chatting to you. Okay, bye.